spend on establishing industries. That is, when government spend on establishing industries, whereby whether it encourages private investment to start industries, or government itself start an industry, such will help to create jobs, because there will be more openings for people to be employed. This is another aspect. Also, it helps to allocate certain resources to the most needed areas. There are different parts of a particular country. Some parts are well endowed with some natural resources, while some are not that well endowed with the other. In that case, it is the responsibility of government to know how to allocate these resources so that it will circulate to all other areas, especially the areas that need the industry most. That need the resources most. How the area, the part of the country will have access to such resources is part of the responsibility of a certain government. Also, it helps to control the price level in an economy. The prices of goods and services in an economy, especially if the economy is operating a kind of mixed economy, or where there are more people, more private sectors taking charge of the market, be it perfect competition in the economy. Such time, government need to control the price of the economy. And how can government do that? Part of which government can use to control the price is public expenditure. Also, it affects the production activities in an economy. The production activities taking place in an economy, government has a way of influencing it, and one of the ways is with the use of the public expenditure. These are the ways that the government can use the public expenditure to affect, to influence the situation of an economy. Taxation. Taxation may be defined as the act or method of imposing a compulsory levy by the government or its agency on individuals and firms or goods and services. Tax, on the other hand, is defined as a compulsory levy imposed by the government or its agencies on individuals and firms on goods and services. What are the characteristics of tax? Tax is a compulsory levy that must be paid by individual or corporate bodies. It is levied by the government or its agencies in a country. Also, it is a payment made as a sacrifice. And another one is that it is meant for the general welfare of everybody in the society. And the last one, it has age limit. That is, not everybody in an economy will pay tax, but there must be an age limit. For example, like Nigeria, someone at the age of 18 is no more recognized as an infant, but as an adult that will be responsible for his or her action. And at such stage, such a person can own a property and can take one decision or the other that will be legally binding. In that case, such a person is liable to pay tax. Principles of a good tax system. What are the principles that should surround a good tax system in an economy? 1. Equity and ability to pay. That is, people should be able to pay tax according to their abilities. It should not be something that will become a burden over people in an economy. It should be something that they will be able to pay, and with convenience. Also, number 2, we have economy. The cost of tax collection should be cheap relative to the revenue yield. That is, the cost that government will incur while trying to collect tax from the people in the society must be relatively cheap compared to the amount of tax the government wants to collect from them. That is when it will make a reasonable profit. 3. Convenience. It should be convenient as to form of the tax, timing of the tax, and place of payment. That is, there should be a kind of convenience in when the people in the society want to pay tax. Convenience in time of how much they will pay, where they will pay it, and when they should pay it. It should be something that is convenient to pay. Also, we have another one called certainty. Certainty, that is, tax should be certain and clear to everybody that is concerned. That is, it should not be something that is cumbersome, it should not be something that is difficult to understand, but it should be something that is so clear and everybody understand what is meant for, why government is collecting the tax. Number 5, flexibility. The tax system should be flexible enough for adjustment when need arises. There may be a certain need at a time that government will need to change the form of tax system in a country. It should be flexible. It should not be something that will be rigid, that will be constant and unbendable. It should be flexible enough. And the last one, simplicity. A tax system should not be difficult to administer and understand. That is, it should not be difficult to collect from the people in a country. Why government impose tax? That's another question that we can ask. That why tax? 1, to raise revenue. Tax, government usually generates enough and huge amount of money from tax over a period of time. So it helps government to raise revenue. 2, to redistribute income. It also helps government to redistribute income in an economy, to help the poor also to have access to some basic things of life like free education, medical care, and so on, so that it won't be like the rich alone are the one that are benefiting from the government. Also, to discourage production and consumption of harmful goods, harmful commodities. In an economy, government can increase tax on the production and consumption of harmful goods so that people will withdraw from consuming such goods, such as cigarettes in an economy. When government wants to discourage people from consuming such goods, it will increase the tax of such goods. Also, to control inflation. When there is an inflation in an economy, tax is an instrument that government of any country can use to control the inflation. And what the government do with tax is to increase tax. When government increase tax, there will be a kind of huge amount of money flowing from individuals into the government purse. And with that, the level of money in circulation will reduce. Also, we have to protect infant industries. Infant industries are the small industries that are just growing up in our country, producing certain goods or the other. In that case, it is the responsibility of government to protect them so that the bigger industries, whether locally or internationally, will not override them and will not use their economic power to put them down, because their presence in an economy is also important. It helps economic growth. Another one, it promotes economic growth. And the last one, it encourages savings and investment. Tax encourages savings and investment. And with all these benefits, tax is not without its own problem. Then what are the problems of tax collection? 1, refusal to pay, as I told you. So many people in an economy usually run away from paying tax. Why? Just because they don't see the reason for them to pay, or they complain that they don't have to pay. All these are part of the problem that tax collection usually encounter. 2, failure to declare real income. So many people in an economy usually hide their income. Possibly they are working and earning income from more than one source. They only expose one source to the government. The other source, they keep it to themselves, so as to avoid paying tax on others. All this will not really give us the real income of the economy, of the people in an economy, because people are not being sincere. 3, failure to meet people's expectation. It is the expectation of people that the tax collected from the masses should be used by the government to provide social amenities and the rest. But when government has failed to provide all this, it will not encourage people to pay tax, because their expectation has been damaged. Their expectation has been dashed, and therefore they see it as a waste when they are paying tax. This is another problem. Also, insincerity of tax collectors. The agencies, the people in charge of tax collection, also sometimes they may not be sincere. They may get they may get more than what they will put on grant for the government, or what they will transfer or remit into the government purse. In this case, this is another problem that can be encountered in the process of tax collection. And also, we have mismanagement of government fund. When governments mismanage the fund, in that case, the tax is part of the fund that has been collected from people. Mismanagement of such will not encourage people to pay, because they see it as a waste that they are working and others are mismanaging such fund. Types of tax. We have two major types of tax. One, direct tax. Two, indirect tax. Now let's take it one after the other. Direct tax. Direct tax refers to the tax imposed directly on income of individuals or organizations by the government or its agencies. Such incomes include wages, salaries, profits, rent, and so on, such as the direct tax. Then direct tax has its own categories too. We have personal income tax, which is tax levied on individual